Memory work. This is a spell for survival, resurrection, a strategy for staying power in new becomings. We work the roots, we call the names, we raise the dead not to mourn, but to build forward. Through the Outsider Preservation Initiative, we lay hands on sacred ground, Freedom Colony not as relic, but as resource, not history, but blueprint. Sankofa in real time, because the past lives here, beside us. We've got hands in many fields, academics and aunties, researchers, uncles, and root workers, city folk, country folk, and the water folk in between, all of us leaning in, all of us holding space for the living past and the possible. Funding is only one part of the formula. The administrative mentorship, intellectual cross-pollination, and collaborative celebration, we expand our research through togetherness. We are linking with neighboring communities, sharing tools, stories, and strategies. Together, not just preserving, we're co-creating. This is a new old way of preservation. It's alive, expansive, innovative, inventive. It invites descendants to pull neighboring communities into the circle and say, you too, your story, your way of keeping matters too. Heirs, they are stepping forward, full front and forward, not just to honor the land, but to animate it with gardens and gatherings, with code and quilt, with vision so sharp it cuts through erasure. We aren't here just to commemorate, we are here to consecrate, to activate, to innovate, because our settlements are still speaking, still dreaming, still demanding new tongues, new old truths. So bring your maps, bring your medicine, bring your mind. This work is the work of becoming, of remembering forward. Let us make a future our ancestors would recognize. Let us make a present that sings their names in every stone. Let us preserve from the outside in.
My name is Viktor L. Ewing Gibbons. I am a installation, performance, found object, creative thought thinker. Over the past 4 or 5 years, I've been engaging in a reverse archival found object project where I've journeyed to the land of my people's people. In 1891, my great-great-great-great-grandparents, Lula Burleson Gibbons and Solomon George Gibbons, purchased 20 acres of land and subsequently an additional 20 to form Gibbons Hill. Historians posit this place as a freedom colony. It's a place in space where black families, newly emancipated African families were afforded the time and place to simply be and govern themselves as they so desired. And it's been my charge and my passion to take the material culture, the ideological culture, the artifacts from this place and from this period and infuse it into my creative practice in the now. It began with the collection of a bed quilt, and I slept under that quilt. And then from that quilt, I was mounted by a series of dreams that told me to go even further. And it revealed to me that there will be others who would join me on this journey, and subsequently a whole community of practitioners, healers, spiritualists, archivists, scholars have sort of joined forces to begin what is titled In Search of My Familiar Dreaming South. Molasses in particular because it's a complex substance. It is the product of a product of a product of a product. And in many ways, that's the running metaphor that I have for brown bodies, black bodies, Negro bodies in this country. That we are the product of the product of the product. But we can still be traced back to the original source. So when you extract or extrude sugar from the cane, from the stalk, when you drip off the sugar, right, and you cook that down, you get crystals. And then once you cook those crystals down one step further, you get molasses. And then if you were to take molasses a step further, you would get rum or fermented sort of spirits that are often used for libation and pouring and giving homage to the gods. But I've selected, or rather molasses has selected itself as being this title or working title because the process of archiving or collecting this material culture from my people and then taking it and then breaking it down and decomposing it into something smaller, and then taking that smaller thing into something smaller. Tell me. And so that's what molasses is. It's really about reimagining or stretching the literacy, or the ways we read Blackness, to be multifaceted and complex, but also sweet. So at the core of the question, I'm really beckoning, what is it about Blackness and being the African that makes us so damn sweet? You know, what was it about the continent that inspired nations to want to come and strip it apart and rip it apart and use this piece over here to make money here, to send this here, to this, that whole triangular trade system? Like, what was it about us that made that happen? And even yet and still, how can we cultivate that sweetness? How can we stand in that sweetness till this day? I know oftentimes the readings of the transatlantic period and the colonial era are very steeped in woo, and that tone it's heavy and it's bemoaned and it's loaded with pain. But again, what is it about us that makes things so sweet to taste? And so how can we not linger in the places of tragedy, but really use that substance of who we are, this complex substance of sweetness and sugar, to really evolve in motion past it?